Hey everyone, in this video, we are going to show you how to set up your podcast on our favorite podcast platform, Captivate.fm. However, we're going to do it with a twist. I have my awesome team member here, Zeke, who's actually runs our operations. He's not a podcast manager, so I wanted him to be a podcast manager for this upcoming podcast. So that way he knows how the podcast managers operate. So he's going in cold. He has what he needs, but we're going to get started, and here we go. All right, Zeki, go ahead and walk me through this, man.
First, once you've logged into your podcast Captivate account, go and add a new podcast. So that's where we create a new podcast. We're here. We're gonna create a show name, which is if you're calling subtitle.
We'll
I
just
guess it'll be the
put,
same.
yeah, I don't we'll really have one, but we'll just say showcasing Cape Fear's best businesses.
Author name Rich Cardona. Then author email is
One thing I'll note for people watching, the copyright, like it just gets assigned automatically. You don't really have to change that manually. So if you ever see someone's thing is copyrighted, don't even worry about it. It's not legal. It's done through the podcast platform, so it's not a worry.
so no, this is not a private show.
Private show is essentially kind of like a Patreon type of deal, where it's not released to everybody. You could release it to a email subscriber list, or it could be something that people pay for, like extras that are behind a paywall. We don't do anything like that. None of our clients do anything like that. So that's why it's not private. It's public.
So for the cover art, I already have the file here. So I will add the file now. And unfortunately, our file is over 2 MB.
Okay, so I made this on Canva because I didn't even change the title, but it says there's a PNG file, 6 MB. Okay, I double clicked it. I went up here to the three dots. Now I'm on Windows. So I have no idea what you have. And then I went to resize image and I just changed it. So it automatically defaulted to JPEG. So it was going to take it from the pixels are going to be the same because these are the requirements for a podcast. And it took it down to 987 kilobytes. Is that how you say it? I guess. Voila. Here it is. If I hover over it, there it is, 987. So I slacked it to Zek. Okay, so you uploaded it. Cool.
Yep. So it's already uploaded. And there's a
Okay.
tip here telling you that it has to be these specifications.
Yep.
Next, description and categories. I already have the description here, so I'm going to upload it now.
All I did was go into ChatGPT and I got a description. Like I said, you can use that as an introduction for your podcast, like the one you would actually say. That's it. Should be all good to go.
Main category would be
So let's see. So we have not gone over this. I've not made a YouTube video about this, but I will. This is not necessarily a business podcast. And here's a really good opportunity for you to leverage where your podcast belongs if you do the research. But again, I'm simulating being exactly like you. Okay. People who have a podcast who just kind of want to get it going. Their expectations aren't that it's going to be, hot right off the bat. For us, this podcast is a local podcast in a small city in Wilmington, North Carolina. So categorically, I don't have any massive expectations of it. However, if I were a $10 million a year CEO and I had a podcast coming out and I had content coming out all the time regularly, I had a pretty big following, I would investigate the opportunities, or I would hire someone like us to investigate the opportunities and where the best category is. So, Zach, although it looks like we want to be in business, probably not. It's more like travel. You know why? Because I want people who are not around this region to potentially come here, and I want people here to look at as well. Doesn't mean it's going to get shown to more people or anything like that. In this case, maybe not. But I will make sure to make a video of all the categories and what makes sense. But I will tell you, just because your podcast might be a business podcast and you're an entrepreneur does not necessarily mean that it needs to be business entrepreneurship. You can look for other opportunities depending on some of the subcategories. The biggest part here, if you're on the fence in any way, shape, or form, is that just like your cover art, just like your show description, where Zeki is right now, you could change this anytime. Period, point blank. So let's go ahead and look. What do we have here? Religion? No. News? Not so much. Leisure. Let's just do leisure for right now. That'll be one of them. Okay, and then let's look at a second. Arts, business. What do we got here? Education, fiction, government, history, health and fitness. Keep scrolling down, please. Let's do. Yep, there you go. Society and culture. We'll actually make that one the number one. Sorry, we'll switch that. and then we'll make the other one leisure. Okay, and last one, let's just do society and culture. Perfect.
Next up is to set up your directory settings. So this is going to be episodic with will your podcast include explicit language?
No, I don't think so. If you might ever slip up, just go ahead in here and change it. Okay. Or if you just want to never have to worry about it, you could just put yes. It's not going to affect anything. We've never heard of the, podcast police coming and be like, you swore on your podcast, but you don't want to be that guy or gal. Let me go back to one thing, Zeki. Can you explain to me the difference between episodic with seasons, and serial?
Episodic is just a continuous release of episodes, so that could be from 1 to 100 and it just
Totally.
keeps going.
Yep.
Episodic with seasons is you have your season 1, that's 1 to 10, and then you season 2 1 to 10.
Yep.
Serial is just keeps going. Or well,
Serial
serial.
is a little bit different. That's maybe like kind of limited series type deals. I should know that, but I don't because I don't care. What does it say right
Oh,
there?
it says here that the order is inverted and the episodes are displayed oldest to newest, grouped by seasons that they're set in.
Okay.
Think
Yeah.
like a serial based TV show.
Cool. We don't care about that, but let's make sure we hit episodic. Okay, cool.
Got it.
All right.
So we'll make your podcast clean, maximum episodes on the feed. We could leave this alone.
We will
So
leave it alone. Yep.
default publishing time. Now this is different for each person, but we normally go for 5:05.
That's right. If you are subscribed to a podcast, you'll get a notification that there's new episodes. And if you get that notification at 6 a.m. and you're going on a walk or you're walking the dog, there's a good opportunity that you want that. It's good to have it released at the beginning of the day. Then you also, if you have promotional material for it, you could promote it all the time. So obviously, yeah, here we're going. If you see New York, that's probably the easiest. It usually says America, New York, or something like that.
All right, next is to add show to our network.
We're going to add it to our network where our clients exist as well.
So after that, you're going to want to confirm your feed. It shows here the information, the feed URL. Everything here seems all right. So create your podcast. That's it.
Go ahead and let's see what happens. Okay, so there's nothing here. No big deal. But it says you've successfully created your show. If I need to change anything anywhere, right by the cover art, podcast settings. Okay. Everything we just did, you can just go there if you need to adjust anything. You literally log in, go there, and you're fine. You could change anything at any time and it will reflect essentially immediately. Sometimes it happens in 7 or 10-minute intervals, but no big deal. Let's go back up to the top real quick. Okay, some of this other stuff we will get into in future episodes, but right now we're literally just getting it out. Some of this stuff is fantastic, but we don't need anything with it. Again, up there where the cover art is, Cape Fear Calling, you have podcast settings and copy RSS feed. So we are going to be able to publish this podcast everywhere. And we'll get to that in a second. But if you want to manually make sure you're signed up on Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcast Connect, and stuff like that, you're going to need the RSS feed. So right here, all you need to do is go to your dashboard and get it. Yes, it would matter if you are going to do a 301 redirect, which is a fancy way of saying we're moving from Captivate to another platform. So we are going to pause right here. Okay, but this is all you need to do. The reason I'm stopping here is because I have nothing to distribute. Okay, I don't have a podcast episode, I don't have the trailer. We have those things ready to go, but we are not there yet. We are just allowing you to know that you can have it set up, everything ready to go. And if you're going to be batching your content, then we're going to come back here and you're going to be able to start publishing episodes, scheduling episodes, and we'll look at some of the other tools they have here, like episode planning, research links, etc. Zeki, do you have any questions? I mean, this is legit his first time being in here. So do you have any questions about this?
Right now, no questions because it's clear you can change anything at any time. There's no pressure to just get in and just start. I guess moving forward, my question would be like, how do I read all of these like data once we start releasing?
Well, that's a good YouTube episode as well. So we'll go ahead and make notes of those. So in one of the follow-ons, we'll make sure that we have distribution covered, some of the tools here, and then how to interpret the analytics, which is probably going to be unimportant in the beginning because you're not going to be getting tons and tons of downloads at the outset, but that's okay because we all got to start somewhere. So obviously, it doesn't take long for you to literally just go set something up. The reason I like this, what we just did, is because it can allow you to actually intentionally go set it up so that way you know you have to record if you haven't recorded already. It's like purchasing a domain, it makes it more real. And as mentor of mine, Alex Hormozy, was talking about on his book launch recently, his acquisition.com he had a good story about every business that he starts by getting the hat to make it more real. So before the business has exploded, before anything's happened, he gets the hat and he wears it. And that's exactly kind of what this mentality is go ahead, set up your podcast, get your cover art. It's like you're starting to get all the pieces in place. Now you know you have somewhere that you need to go upload some stuff to for people to listen. And we're going to cover that in the next episode. If you have any questions, as usual, you could hit me up at richcardona_ on Instagram. You could email us at info@richcardonamedia.com. If there's any questions, comments, other than that, go ahead and leave them as a YouTube comment and we will get back to you. Thank you guys.